The seafood industry in Korea contributes significantly to the domestic economy and the global seafood market. The outstanding development of this industry is thanks to the active activities of fishermen. Now let's learn how Korean fishermen process millions of squid, mackerel and pollock in the factory. Squid is the main product of fishing on the eastern coast of Korea. This is also one of the most consumed seafood products in Korea. On average, a fishing vessel catches about 520,000 tons of squid. Most of these boats belong to the offshore fishing fleet. After preparing everything, the fishermen were ready to go to sea. Their fishing vessels are equipped with a powerful radar system that can scan large ocean areas. These systems provide real-time data on the size of squid and where they are going to help fishermen determine suitable locations to catch them. The ship is equipped with super bright lights and bait to attract squids eager to feed. Squid fishing bait does not really require real bait, usually just plastic shrimp with a reflective layer covering about half of the bait. When the bright light shines on the bait, the reflective part will glow, attracting squid to attack. Dozens of fishing lines stretch into the water under the lights, each line carrying a specialized squid hook. When a squid gets caught on the fishing line, the reel automatically lifts it onto the metal rack. Baskets are placed here to catch all the falling squid. After the ship docked, fishermen quickly brought fresh squid ashore and distributed it to the market. This group of workers are in charge of receiving squid, and poor quality squid are discarded. The entire squid is washed in clean water. After that, workers will process and clean the internal organs. They can process around 12,000 squid each day. That's work that machines can't do, and it's all done by hand. Workers wash squid gently several times to avoid damaging the skin. At the same time, they remove the salty taste and remaining byproducts of squid by soaking them in seawater. Workers fix the ink with wooden sticks so that they don't bend inward. The squids are arranged evenly on the rack. The squids are then put into the drying equipment, drying the front and back evenly to maintain toughness. Squids will dry at about 25 degrees in 6 hours. Squid is mainly dried and preserved for long periods of time and distributed as raw food, as well as processed into other products. Besides manual processing, there are also efforts to develop automatic machinery for gutting or squid cutting. Technology will help save time, increase productivity, and serve to process more products. Workers arrange squid in layers for easy cooling. The weight of the trays will vary depending on the size of the squid. After that, the squid is packaged to move to the freezing stage. Along the Korean coast, mackerel is caught in large quantities. It is also a familiar food ingredient that is always on people's dining tables. The meat of the mackerel caught by the net is of unreliable quality compared to mackerel caught by line. Because the fish are not bled before processing and can lie in nets of tropical waters for many hours before being brought ashore. However, this is still a fishing method in the fishing nets. About 80% of the total mackerel catch is caught using seine nets. The mackerel fishing season lasts from October to March of the following year. At that time, the water temperatures increase and the mackerel migrate to the West Sea, causing the number to increase to its highest level. Fishermen here will easily achieve a bumper harvest. In 2023, Koreans caught around 151,000 tons of mackerel. After catching, fishermen will have to race against time in the distribution process. The fresh mackerel in the ship's hold is transported to the truck. Large quantities of mackerel are gathered in this area, and workers begin the sorting process. In the past, because mackerel often rot quickly after catching, fishermen often preserve them with salt. Salted mackerel has become a favourite dish of many. At factories, salted mackerel is made from premium fresh mackerel, combined with traditional fish salting secrets. The most important thing is to maintain the freshness of the original ingredients. Because mackerel rots so quickly, workers must always make sure to keep the mackerel fresh. The producer purchased premium mackerel through an auction at the Busan Fish Market, which has a quick freezing facility. They only bring in enough mackerel for one production session. This will ensure workers have enough time to process and the mackerel stays fresh throughout the production process. When mackerel is transported to the factory, workers begin to separate the mackerel's belly and remove its internal organs. The intestine is cut in the middle of the spine. After careful trimming, the mackerel is placed in a tank containing seawater and washed. When workers wash mackerel in seawater, unwanted blood and residue can be removed. The cleanliness is much higher than when using regular fresh water, while maintaining freshness. The mackerel is drained for 20 minutes, and workers sprinkle 2 to 5 grams of salt, applying it to the surface of the mackerel. Next, the mackerel is incubated for 7 hours at a temperature of around 5 degrees Celsius before being vacuum packaged. In addition to mackerel, pollock is also a very popular dish. This fish is found widely around the Korean peninsula. Pollock move south from the North Pacific in the fall. They reach the coast of Hamgyongdo province in September or October. They also reach the coast of Gwangdo province in November or December. This abundance allows pollock fishing activities to often take place in domestic waters. Fishermen mainly use large-scale trawl fishing methods, including midline and bottom trawls. This method is effective in catching large quantities, especially in deeper waters where pollock reside. In 2023, South Korea's pollock catch was reported to be around 320,000 pounds. Pollock is caught offshore and quickly frozen for transport to the drying site. Because it is dried by the sea breeze, pollock is always clean and maintains its freshness. Pollock absorbs nutrients from deep sea water and environmental temperatures. Over 90 days in an outdoor environment with cold wind, after many contractions and expansions, the fish meat will have a rich flavour. Currently, instead of drying naturally, pollock is gradually dried at the factory. After removing the gills and viscera, the pollock is washed and ready for drying. Workers use skewers to widen the fish's body so that air can circulate well. Pollock is dried at a temperature of around -5 degrees Celsius. These processing plants meet the increased demand for dried pollock and save production time for fishermen. They are widely used in Korean cuisine and are known for their natural sweetness and delicious chewy texture. However, dried pollock products from the factory are not as popular as naturally dried pollock. Besides dry processing, pollock fillet is also popular in Korea. At the factory, workers will remove bones from the meat. The fillet is then marinated with spices before freezing. Then, when frozen, the pocket fillets will be easily weighed and packaged. The vast ocean, where thousands of species of seafood live. When the ships set sail, we can also see the fishermen's dedication to the sea. Hundreds of different fishing methods and tools. In today's video, we will learn about an ancient method that dates back to early civilizations around the world. That is spearfishing. This fishing technique includes diving and hunting with spears. It has been practiced for thousands of years by communities living near bodies of water for food. Over time, spearfishing has developed into a recreational sport enjoyed by people around the world. Today's spearfishers use modern equipment such as spear guns, wetsuits, and fins to hunt fish. This sport is also more strictly regulated to protect the environment and ensure the safety of divers. Despite modernization, spearfishing is still an activity that requires skill and patience. This is a fun way to connect with nature and have a unique experience in the underwater world. From the simple handheld spears used in ancient times, fishing equipment has evolved to more effective and powerful solutions. Spear guns are the clearest proof. It operates using a compression spring mechanism. The rubber bands are then pulled and locked to the shaft. When you pull the trigger, the spear will be pushed forward with great force. But how do fishermen use spear guns to take down giant fish? Let's follow the footsteps of marlin fish hunters to find out. Marlin season usually begins in late winter and lasts into summer. The best time to target with a spear is late January, with the peak being March to April. Hunting a marlin requires a plan of time and a certain amount of risk. They are large fish with sharp, barbed noses that can cause some serious injuries, as well as being capable of dragging you down an abyss if you get caught in a fight. In recent years, sling spear guns have developed, which further increases hunting performance. The fisherman moved forward with the spear gun. He fired. The spear hit the marlin with the first shot. Marlin reacted by rushing away quickly, but unfortunately, it was still found. First, fishermen focused on catching skipjack tuna. They then usually hook it to a rope no more than 20 meters long and let it swim around underneath the boat. If you're lucky, the skipjack will attract a hungry marlin to check out. This is the perfect opportunity for fishermen to take their shot. Before pulling the trigger on the spear gun, it is extremely important that you check your body for any lines, as once the spear is inserted, it is very difficult to untangle any tangles. It rushed forward very quickly. Seeing the hunter, the marlin turned tail and tried to run away. Immediately, the fisherman fired a shot. It carried the spear and rope and swam a short distance, swimming everywhere to find a way to survive. With a visibility of about 10 meters underwater, thanks to the rope, the fisherman quickly found the marlin's location. The fight went on for several minutes, and in the end, the fisherman won. Now it's time to bring the marlin to the boat for storage. Fishermen often carry spare guns on boats with buoys and lanyards for easy access. The rule is not to try to grab an injured marlin, Their unpredictable and aggressive nature can easily cause fatal injuries. A large fish can wrap around you in seconds, pulling you deep before you have time to escape. New Zealand waters are famous for some of the world's largest kingfish. Local and international fishermen hunt these mighty fish from October to April. The fun begins once the kingfish has been located. They often swim in groups and hunt in groups. With its curious nature, kingfish will often come close to fishermen. Therefore, the fact that fishermen present themselves as strange objects in the water is enough to attract them. The best method is to dive in the direction they are swimming. Plan your descent so you can block the kingfish's swim and take your shot. When stabbing fish, fishermen try to aim right at the pectoral fins behind the gill plate. This will produce a high damage shot, resulting in the kingfish struggling less and dying more quickly. Once a solid hit is achieved, the diver can surface and begin the battle. When a kingfish is injured, it will try to swim fiercely and vigorously. Often it will head towards the rocks below to try to dislodge the spear. These fishermen must keep the fishing line away from their bodies. Kingfish will swim in circles, so it is important that they do the same to avoid getting tangled in the line and find it faster. Using float lines and floats attached to your gun is a good method used by many fishermen. Because thin fishing line is dangerous, and if a kingfish pulls the line away, you have no choice but to let go and lose it. On the contrary, fishing lines with buoys attached help solve this situation more easily. In fact, if fully equipped with tools, fishermen can hunt alone. However, it is wise to have a teammate keep an eye out when diving to the bottom to ensure the fisherman can surface safely. Compared to marlin or kingfish, red snapper is smaller in size. This means they are more difficult to hunt. Through many years of spearfishing, fishermen have found that the most important factor when stalking red snapper is stealth. They need to be as quiet as possible in the water when stalking red snapper. Red snapper are commonly found at depths of 30 to 620 feet in the Gulf of Mexico and along the east coast of North America and Central America. They often hide in the crevices of rock or coral structures, making them difficult to detect. Red snapper will be most active at dawn and dusk, as this is when they are most likely to feed. With red snapper heading straight into the current, the best approach is from the rear. This means the fisherman will have to swim with the current and approach the red snapper from behind. This is an extremely effective tip used by fishermen hunting red snapper. A very important step is for the fisherman to always ensure that the sun is behind or above his back. The sun hides the shape of the fisherman's body. If the snapper happens to turn around, it will be blinded by sunlight, giving the fisherman time to make his shot. Fishermen often aim for the red snapper's head. This will ensure a quick and humane kill and will help prevent the red snapper from struggling and escaping. Successful red snapper fishing requires a combination of strategy, patience, and time in the water. Even if everything goes in your favor, there is no guarantee you will succeed. That is the interesting point of this underwater hunting sport. Besides snappers, octopuses are also difficult to hunt with spears, as they are masters of camouflage. It can change color to blend in with its surroundings and can pounce on any unwary prey that strays in its path. Octopuses often hunt at dusk. Fishermen can rely on this feature to find and hunt octopuses. Fishermen look for a coral reef or rocky seabed where an octopus can make a den. They will drop the anchor into the water and wait for the anchor to hit the bottom before diving. During diving, fishermen look for cracks and possible hiding places to find octopuses. Once the octopus is found, if it is in a cave, the fisherman will use a spear or trident to lure it out of its hiding place. He poked around until the octopus took a defensive stance and started grabbing the spear. Octopuses don't always die when you shoot them, so even if you shoot spears accurately, the fight is not over. Its body extends to the elbow, and immediately its long tentacles wrap around the diver's wrist and along the arm. It sprayed ink onto the snorkel mask, causing divers to lose their vision. Sometimes all fishermen have to do is wait quietly. When they realize the fishermen aren't trying to eat them, the octopus will often come out to check, displaying wild colors and flashing light patterns. At this time, fishermen can seize the opportunity and catch the octopus. Most octopuses are not large enough to cause any harm. Therefore, compared to this tentacled creature, catching giant fish with spears is much more dangerous. Fishermen swim for hours underwater, in conditions unbearable for humans. They are venturing into the playground of some of the ocean's most dangerous predators. With just one wrong step, it's not difficult to imagine how an accident could happen. The spear gun has incredible speed, enough to provide a range of several feet underwater. The spear shot through anything that stood in its way. Although its design was for hunting, spear guns can also kill people. In case the spear gun accidentally explodes or mistakenly hits a teammate, it can injure or even kill the fisherman. Fishermen shared that in some cases, visibility was very bad and their minds kept thinking about dangerous problems. If a shark appears, the fisherman will watch helplessly as it steals his bait and end the hunting trip immediately if he does not want to be attacked by a shark.